Per Svärdson, the founder of Adlibris and Apotea, claimed that e-commerce is 95% logistics. And even if we have mentioned logistics many times now, we will take a firm grip on that subject. We are happy to have managed together UPS, Bring and CDON in a discussion about logistics. And our objective is to discuss what we can do to put a compressor engine on the development of the customer experience within this field, or rather how we can tailor a fantastic delivery and return process for our customers. So please welcome Matthew Gaffery from UPS, Johan Holgersson from Bring, and Tobias Traneborn from CDON. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's cute. You didn't give me a teddy bear, Matt?
No, I didn't.
So welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Fine. I mean, born and raised in Malmö, this is like coming home, so I'm really relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah. And I am home.
Yeah. I'm the only one that's not home, so I'm not as relaxed as these two gentlemen here. So.
I think you will
Do
manage.
you like the teddy bear back?
Oh, no.
Okay, so, go ahead.
Sorry.
So Tobias, you have worked with logistics for quite a long time now with CDON. So can you tell us what you've done and what you're up to now?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I've been working with logistics in e-commerce since it was called mail order 15 years ago. So it's been a while. Mainly as a consultant, but also in Elus as logistic manager and Shell Company, among others. But for a few years I've been in other fields and e-commerce, but now I'm back again and finally back in e-commerce again. So as a head of operations for CDON since 6 weeks.
Okay. So what would you say is your major challenge within this field?
There are many challenges in logistics, but in terms of CDON I think there are 3 challenges to start with. And of course, it's as always to improve the cost efficiency. That is always important when it comes to logistics. But I also think we have to sort of develop a more customer-friendly delivery process, giving the customers more options in terms of delivery. And then for CDON, with marketplace and drop shipment solutions, I think we have an issue to make sure that we give a good delivery to our customers, even though it comes from a lot of different warehouses.
And how many warehouses have you had at CDON, and how many have you now?
There has been a lot of warehouses at CDON, but since a few weeks back we are now consolidated to one warehouse in Ljungby in Sweden. And but on the other hand, thanks to the marketplace and drop shipment solutions, we deliver from more warehouses than ever. So our own goods is in Ljungby, but then we have a lot of other warehouses with our merchants.
Okay, so there's been a lot of talk lately about having sort of large warehouses, but then have a bunch of small ones as well that are closer to the customer. So what is your opinion on that setup?
I think normally I would say it's enough to have one warehouse. You get enough trouble with one. And I think you get more cost efficient to have one warehouse. And when we talk about the Nordic area, it's normally enough, I think, to have one warehouse. We will be able to get fast deliveries from one warehouse to most of the Nordic region. So that is my sort of standpoint. And I also think adding warehouses adds complexity. It's hard enough to have sort of the right goods at one warehouse. If you have like 2 warehouses, it's 3 times harder to have the right goods at the right place, I think.
And Matthew and Johan, what is your opinion about that?
I think specifically when you look at warehouses, for us, you know, at UPS we work on a bespoke system where, from a facility perspective, it's about consolidation for us. So the more that we can consolidate and streamline the customer's experience, I think the better opportunity we have. I think, you know, from UPS's perspective, it's unique to the customer. You know, so some might speed to market, for example, might be of topmost priority. So they might have to, I mean, tangibly, it can't make sense just to have one warehouse. So I think it's incumbent upon, you know, the logistics companies like a UPS or any others that have to partner with them to leverage some of our warehouses as well. So, you know, a small business or SME, small, medium-sized enterprise customer might just have the capabilities to have one warehouse, but leveraging their partner, their logistics partner, and leveraging their network, I think can put them in a position to, you know, get to the market quickly at a very efficient cost.
Yeah. What do you think, Johan?
Well, I really would like to start off disagreeing, but I do disagree. I would like to get some energy going, but still, I think looking at the Nordics, it's small enough to have just one warehouse. I think it was interesting listening to Peak Performance yesterday, utilizing the stores as a pickup point, and then you can have one warehouse and you can use the stores as smaller warehouses in that sense. So in the Nordics, I think that's the strategy you should go for. So.
Okay.
But we want
Matthew, you have something else?
No, I think you bring up a great point. I think one thing is, I do believe for an e-commerce company here that you have to think boundaryless. I think you have to think not just intra-Nordics. I think the Nordics is a phenomenal market. I think, but when you look at population around the world, if you can get beyond these borders, or if you can get, and this is, I think, with any country, if you can get out of an island mentality and think about exporting, I think the opportunities for, you know, e-commerce companies to grow is going to be phenomenal. So then you might have to have another DC somewhere else because you can only get so far. But I do think you do have to start thinking about driving customer experience, not just within the Nordics, but outside of the Nordics as well.
Right, yeah. Good point.
So we want to deliver quicker or faster to the customer. But how important is the speedness, Tobias, for you?
Yeah, of course speed is important, but sometimes I think we talk a little bit too much about speed. I think it's more about precision, to secure that the customer gets, or that we keep the promise that we have given to our customer. It's not always tomorrow or later today. It's a day when the customer needs it, and that is the day that he or she should have his parcel, I think.
So what do you guys think? How important is speed, do you think, in your experience?
It's really interesting to discuss speed, because some think speed is like 15 minutes or 1 hour or the same day and stuff like that. And maybe it's been too much focus on just that. Speed is important. Precision is more important. So we're talking about if you have a supply chain that is first mile, middle mile, last mile, you need to shorten the whole chain, not just the last part. So that's really important.
And I agree with you, and I think the other component when you think about speed is just not the movement of goods. I think, you know, at UPS we have a solution, My Choice, for example, but it's about moving the information as well, because the consumer wants to know when their good is going to arrive to them.
Right, yeah.
But they also want to know when it's going to come to them, that they can have control over that package. So if you're not going to be, you know, at home when the package is expected to be delivered, that you can reroute that package, whether it's to a, you know, an access point shop, whether it's hold at a facility, but they want the control because they want to receive their goods.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about home deliveries a little bit. Sweden, obviously you have home deliveries, but it's not, it's safe to say it wasn't the success we all maybe hoped for, because it's kind of, it's a little unrealistic to expect someone to stay at home all day waiting for their package. So what do you guys think about this, or what do you think about this, Tobias?
About home deliveries?
Yeah.
I think it's, I think we have to see the deliveries in sort of a more variety than we do today. We have to add options in delivery. Home delivery is one, but there is a lot of other ways to deliver to the customer as well.
Have you guys prioritized this, like trying to fix this issue of having to be home pretty much all day to get your package?
Yeah, we've been focusing on that for a couple of years now. I think we do about 8,000-9,000 home deliveries every day. Half of those is nighttime delivery. So we've been focusing on it. Still in Sweden, we have this perception or idea that most of the packages still should travel in one single channel, which is the pickup point. And that is a problem. So we need to reroute or redirect flows into the home delivery system.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cultural thing too, I guess, because, I mean, from the States, it's almost all home deliveries, isn't it?
Yeah. So you see a lot of home deliveries in the States. But I think to both of the points that were made is it comes down to the customer experience piece. And I think they want options. The end consumer wants options. And, you know, we can say e-commerce trends are pushing consumer behavior, but I would probably say consumer behavior is pushing e-commerce trends, because you have a very intelligent shopper today. That's the reality. So, you know, but to your point, you know, especially coming up, we're all going to come up on peak season, Christmas season. So there's going to be a lot of packages flowing through. So there's got to be other options just to a at-home delivery. So if it's to an access points or to any other, location, they want that control to be able to, make those decisions.
If we also add free shipping, the free shipping discussion to speed, how is that for you in your daily work?
But I think free shipping and speed, that is a problem. I think we should have free shipping and we should have speed, but maybe that should not be the only option. Then it's a risk. If we can sort of make sure that the customer can choose a lot of different types of deliveries, then we will be able to sort of pricing it in the right direction as well, I think. So let the customer choose. That will be the key figure for the future, I think.
And what is your opinion about that?
Yeah, I think the customer wants choice, to my earlier statement. I think we owe it, all of us owe it to the end consumer to give them those options. So if it's, it's very challenging to do both. I think as we partner and listen to some of the retailers that we work with, they're going to this multimodal, multi-price structure so that, you can either get it in free delivery. And some of the research, we had the opportunity to release UPS Pulse of the online shopper. So we heard from about 6,000 different consumers, and they were saying they'll wait for a certain period, up to 4 days, for free shipping. But then you have the other set of customers that, dependent upon the value of good as well, that they want that next day delivery, for example. So I think it's finding the right combination and ensuring, you drive home that customer experience. I think one thing we always keep into consideration is the power of social media, because, based off the same research that I just mentioned, almost 25% of them will make some type of commentary on social media, and a third of those individuals will be influenced. So that whole customer experience piece, whether it's speed or free shipping, and I would also add in their returns, are key to making sure it's a streamlined logistics process.
And how we handle the deviation as well, I think that is really important.
But now obviously this is it costs more for a retailer. So could you guys do anything to help the retailer to develop this?
Well, first of all, I think that
for the retailers in the audience as well, so they can.
Yeah, of course. I think that free shipping is going to be there as a ground layer. That's, every survey we do this scores really high. Free shipping needs to be there to enable shopping. So that's fine. But what happens is that the business model, the e-tailer, has to absorb that cost, because you can't really redistribute that cost to the consumer. But if you add more options, add more value, like home deliveries, express deliveries, good return services, then you can start pushing that cost out on the consumers. Okay. I think that's a nice idea, to just pull up the willingness to pay, even for the cheaper alternatives.
Okay.
And we will get a lot more satisfied customers as well, because today they have only one option, and some of them will be happy and most will not. So adding choices will sort of help the full business of e-commerce.
So if we talk a little bit about checkouts, when a customer is checking out and they can choose their different delivery options. I know in America we often get like UPS, FedEx, and Poston. I mean, not Poston. I call it Poston, but USPS. But here we usually say bring PostNord or Poston, the old Poston, and DHL together. Do you guys have any plans to make this easier for retailers like CDON to implement this on their site? Yeah,
I think for us, we look at it, information's paramount, I think, to the retailer. And I think with that comes transparency. So as an e-tailer, the buyer, and again, this is based on some of our research, they want to know their options on the very front end, even before they get to checkout. They also, 9 out of 10 of them, we believe based on our research, will look at the returns policy. So they want to understand what options they have if they order the wrong size, wrong color, whatever it may be. So yeah, we continually, as we invest in our technology, we continually look at just that, how do we impact that shopping cart, and how do we impact the retailers or e-tailers abandonment rate with that shopping cart? Because our overall goal is, obviously we want to help them control costs through streamlining, their supply chain. But I think the other component is helping them grow revenue. And how can we help through this process to create loyalty and create a consumer that will come back and buy and repurchase? I think that's key as well.
So the price per package will not increase if a retailer offers more delivery options then?
No, I don't think so. I mean, when you offer more alternatives, I think the turnover will rise. You will sell more, and then the different channels will have the right amount of packages. So I don't think so.
What do you think, Tobias?
I think I agree. And sort of we can sort of increase the revenue by adding different solutions, and then let the customer pay what the customer think it's worth.
What do you think, Matt?
I think free is a relative term, right? I think that, I don't know if anything's free, but I
It's
think...
not? What?
No, it's
The teddy bear is free.
That's
you something.
free. Yeah, we deliver that one for free, so...
I'm kidding.
But
I derailed you, sorry.
no. We don't deliver babies, but we do deliver,
Well, thank you.
But, I think it's how again, it comes back to how the e-tailer positions that online. So it might be through, order value, and then they offer free shipping. It might be, we've seen, listening to our customers, we've seen them, if they're trying to reach a market and grow market share outside of the Nordics, whether it's Germany, France, US, they offer free shipping just to enter the market and try to create, gain some share. So each one of them, I think, is unique, and I think it's incumbent upon, again, all of us to create that bespoke value proposition that aligns to the strategies that the e-tailer is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, good.
And maybe also you can use logistics in like a retargeting point of view. I mean, if you abandon the cart, you can send the email and say, oh, I've seen you had these items in your cart. Maybe if you return back, we can give you free shipping. We can give you 50% off on the home delivery. So you can use delivery in a more creative way to increase revenue.
Okay.
Tobias and I, we were discussing pickup places earlier, and we both had a similar experience, actually, when we talked about it, and that was that we both have canceled an order when we figure out that the delivery location wasn't that good for us. So when will we be able to choose our delivery post?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if we look in the Nordics, we have different players in the logistics side, of course. We have like green and blue and white and stuff like that. So we have our different networks, and they overlap about, I don't know, 15–20%. So there is a couple of places that offer all the alternatives from all the shippers. I don't really see that happening in the near future because it's really a competitive edge having the best network or having, so I don't know. It's really hard.
I think the same. Go ahead.
But it would have been convenient for the customer to choose.
Really convenient.
It would be pretty nice. Do you have something to say, Matt?
No, I think
I didn't really
I think, not to be redundant, but each one of us, that's how we differentiate, right? We think, UPS, we can talk about cost, we can talk about speed of delivery, we can talk about, a lot of these different components, but service is one of the #1 priorities when consumers make a decision. And with that, it comes that delivery drop-off point, or even letting it flow all the way through. So we can't lose the differentiator that each of us have in the market, in which is those points with the service components that each one of our networks support.
But at least it's recognized as something that you guys want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so a lot has seemed to happen within payments recently. We've got a lot of new payment companies that are doing innovative things. But it doesn't necessarily feel like that the same sort of innovation is happening in logistics. Is there a reason for that, or do you think that that's wrong, the statement I just said?
Yeah, partly wrong, but there is, you have a point, of course. I think e-tailers, when optimizing sites or web shops, you start top down. You start looking at the product range, the pictures, the SEO, the nice algorithms, and then you work your way down in this funnel, and now you're on payments. You look upon payments. Klarna has done this very well. And now next step is logistics. So it's more like a demand, from a demand point of view. Okay.
So Tobias, do you feel like, do you agree with Johan?
We seem to agree a lot, actually, but I
so
also
much for
agree.
the debate.
Yeah, exactly. But it's true, and I'm quite glad. I've been out of this business for a few years, and my thought is that something has happened. We talk a lot more about logistics nowadays, and we take sort of the perspective of the customer all the way. Before it was like you're going to shop and you're done when you have sort of checked out. But now we realize that, okay, we have to go all the way to secure that we have a happy customer in the end. And that is logistics.
Yeah. So Tobias, it seems you've been testing different ways to inform your customer about delivery. How has that been working for you?
Yeah, I think that we have to improve a lot in the future to communicate with the customer all the way. The same thing as with everything else, we have to give them choices. Some customers do want to have a lot of status reports during the lead time. Others just want to know when it's a deviation or not. So I think that is something we really have to work out, and that is something we have to do together to make sure that we better inform our customer through the whole cycle.
I have to comment on that, I think, Johan and Matt.
Sadly enough, I agree again. So I mean, on the technical point of view, we have all the solutions. We can measure everything. We know where the parcel is. It's about what information do e-tailers really want to be transparent about towards the customer. Because when you look in the different apps that are available today, you see every status. Now the parcel is here. Now it's on a car.
Yeah,
now
Richard just showed something, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's too much. We want to be relevant. We want to show what's relevant to the customer in the end. So,
what do you think, Matt?
No, I think, you know, the consumer wants to be informed throughout the supply chain, so they want to know, you know, where that package is at. And I think if you look 15 years ago, the challenge, you know, e-commerce is somewhat disrupted because you lose. I'm going to go back to the customer experience piece, right? You used to be able to bring somebody into a brick and mortar store and touch and have that relationship and build, you know, and gain loyalty. Well, as an e-commerce company, the challenge is sometimes you might not ever interact with that customer. So logistics, I think, when you take a look at visibility, and I mentioned this earlier, you know, and our product is my choice, but it's not just letting them know, but it's letting them then make a decision. So I want, you know, and we have an app for it that, you know, a lot of the orders will be taken via, you know, on a mobile phone. In Europe, it's up about 34% on those orders. So how you communicate, you know, what information you give them at what point within the supply chain, and I think you have to be able to communicate with via the mobile, via desktop. You have to give them those options as well.
So you do have a service that shows people where their package is throughout the route?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I think for us is just a brief example is it goes based off of your physical address. So it goes off of your home address. So when a package is coming from UPS, it gives you the flexibility to know when it's coming, what the delivery windows are, and then for you to take action if you're not going to be home.
Okay.
Because it's one thing for me to communicate it to you.
Another thing for me to, can't do anything about it. What does it matter?
About it. So you can get an alert on all the packages. So, you know, for me it works out very well because my wife is a professional online shopper. So I get all the notifications before I get home on every package she's ordered throughout the day. So it works very, very well. But my point is it keeping them communicated. You know, keeping that communication free with them is.
And actually, it has to start before we deliver the parcel to you. It starts when in the checkout. You should have the first information, and then when it's sort of picked and packed in the warehouse and so on. And I think it's better if we can communicate that in one system. Today, you have to sort of look into different apps and different web pages to see that.
So we test shop 100 Nordic web shops during the holiday rush. So we receive 100 packages, and we will also return 100 packages. So
that's a high return rate.
Yes. And we discovered that quite a few online retailers dare to guarantee delivery before Christmas.
Yeah.
And this is a problem. What is your comment about that? And they also blame the supplier for the logistics.
Which doesn't look good on you, obviously.
In a way, I think that blame is right. I mean, if you look at Sweden again, or maybe in the Nordics, just look at Sweden. The biggest part of parcels is now traveling, as I said, through one single channel, which is the pickup points. If we would leverage this out or average this out, like we could have 50% pickup points, 50% home delivery, which would be much easier for us to push volumes between these two channels. It's much easier for us to put more cars on the street, to put more cargo bikes on the street, put more couriers on the street than it is to open more pickup points. So this is something that we and the retailers have to look upon and see, okay, how can we develop this together? Because this Christmas coming up is going to be mayhem again, I'm sad to say, but it's going to be a problem.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah,
is it a nightmare?
No, I think we've had this discussion briefly, and you know, we know that you know, again, based on some of the readings, and you can hear the same messaging throughout. You know, last year, you know, in certain markets, that 8% of individuals took advantage of online sales. So Cyber Monday, Black Friday, and this year they expect that to be 4 times the amount. So you can just do
that should be fun.
Sheer raw math what the numbers will look like. So, you know, I think it's having that communication with your customers. So, you know, I know from UPS perspective, we've went out and had these conversations. to understand what their specific needs are through the peak. But I do think there comes a point where there is a cutoff period where you have to, because physically you can't get the goods there at certain points. So it's having that communication relationship with not just your customers but the marketplace as well, and making sure they're informed and they understand. Now the volume I think will still be a massive increase year over year versus what we've seen last year.
And the peak shopping day is pushed back more and more. Now it's probably going to be like the 9th of December, and it's like maybe if we keep on doing this single channel in Sweden, it's going to be pushed back. So you have to do your Christmas shopping like in November to get this guaranteed. So we need to do some really big grips on this now.
And we believe too there'll be mini peaks as well. Normally you would see the Black Friday, Cyber Monday is the peak day, then it starts to tail off. We believe throughout there will be mini peaks. We've added additional operational support, obviously people. I know we've all probably added additional headcount just to support the demand that will happen during peak season.
So I have something to read you guys. When we return all of these 100 products during our mystery shopping, we've noticed that there's some sort of uncertainty for the customer when they go to these pickup points, and I have this conversation I'm going to read to you.
Maybe I should be the mystery shopper.
All right, you'll be the mystery shopper,
and you are the post office.
I'll be the post guy.
Yeah. Hi, I'd like to return this package. How do I do that?
And post office says, should it be sent as a letter or a package?
I'm not sure. What do you think?
I don't know. Let me see what the weight is. I think we should be able to send it as a package.
Okay. What will that cost?
It depends. Do you want it traceable?
Traceable? What's that?
Well, if you want to be sure the package arrives, you should add it.
Is there a risk that it will be lost?
Yes, it happens, but if you add tracking to the package, we can always find it, even when it's lost.
Okay. Well, then I probably need to add that.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation that we have over and over and over again. And we think that the customer is very uncertain if they will even get their money back in this situation. So do you think that this is an obstacle or a hinder for e-commerce?
Definitely, I think. And I think we have to talk a lot more about returns in the future. And the return process starts already in the checkout, where we have to make sure that the customer feels safe to buy this product here, and he will be safe to return it if necessary. I think that is really important. I think it's quite funny as well. We are online, we sell things on the site. When it comes to return, it's still phone or paper. We should do all the return work as well on the webpage. That is not the truth today.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think that the reverse logistics or returns is a really important focus point coming now. And I think this has to do with the same as I said before, that retailers are working top down and we are working last mile backwards in the chain. So now the next big thing is returns. So we're going to see a lot of development in that in the near future. But this is unacceptable, even though this is not Bring.
So what are we going to see then?
I think that first of all, we need to secure the pre-printed return label. So every package has this option to just change it over, put it on. But then again, we have to add, if we add home deliveries, we can also add the return from the home during nighttime. So we're elaborating, we're doing some pilot tests in Stockholm area where the courier goes out with the goods. The customer tries it on, doesn't fit, give it back to the guy or girl standing there, taking it back.
Interesting.
But this is like a super urban area kind of a deal, not a super Nordic kind of a deal.
Right,
so we have to look upon that, try to differentiate us once again, your point. So that's one of the things we're doing right now.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I think when you look at our returns portfolio, I agree with you. I think the reverse logistics piece is going to be crucial. You heard me, I think, earlier say, 9 out of 10 people will look at the returns policy before they place an order. So the transparency on the front end, I think, is key for a retailer. I think the other piece, just like the outbound shipping, it's just the reverse. They still want options on how to get that package back. So one, it's because at UPS we can do a print return label. So we can mail a label to you, we can email a label to you, but you also have, there's going to be other unique needs. So you might have what we call returns exchange. So I might show up to your door, you have a mobile phone that you need repaired, I give you a new one, take the old one, put it in a box, and then bring it back. So we do some of those solutions today. But again, the end consumer wants the options on the outbound as much as they want on the reverse logistics piece.
So that needs to be transparent. They need to know about this.
And communicate as well to secure that you can feel sort of safe.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. So for the holiday rush, what's going to be your focus, both of you guys? To prepare for it.
Yeah, well, we need to increase headcount, of course, in sorting facilities and stuff like that. But as I said, it's going to be a problem because the parcels will just clog up all the parcel shops.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. We're placing out a couple of parcel lockers now to ease the pressure. But then again, we need to check the home delivery channel as well, just to even out the stream.
Yeah. So what does UPS typically do?
Yeah, I think you know, we've added additional headcount, as I mentioned earlier. We also added, you know, weekend sorts as well to be able to process volume. I think, though, you still, even though you can sort the volume, you still have to deliver the volume, that last 1 mile, as we mentioned. And I think, you know, it's this split to what's going to the home. Our investment, too, with UPS access points, so our convenience stores where we'll deliver to, you know, we have 13,000 in Europe. And we'll, by the end of the year, we'll have about 22,000 stores throughout the globe. So there's a lot of investment in these stores, but it's really this split too between how many packages are going to go to the house or your home, and how many are going to go to a convenience store.
I think I talked to one of your colleagues a couple of days ago, and he said that you guys increased your staff by 1/4 your workforce.
Yeah, so I think
it's a lot.
Yeah, globally close to 100,000 people.
It's a lot of people.
We've hired. You know, but for us, you know, we'll deliver 18 million packages a day, and then during our peak day, we'll deliver 36 million packages this year. Is what's predicted. So it's a lot of packages.
How do you prepare for a holiday rush?
The same thing. We have to man all our operations, of course, and I'm really longing for this period. It will be fun.
Yes.
It's a funny
Exciting.
part of the e-commerce.
I have some quick questions to ask you, and short answers only. Regarding Airbnb and Uber, will we see a possibility to receive the to review the drivers and maybe even choose a driver in the future? If yes, when can we expect that?
The answer is yes. I'm hoping 2016, maybe 2017. This is a really interesting topic to discuss. So yes, short answer.
Matt?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're looking at. I can't give you a date when, but we're definitely looking into, you know, when we invest our technologies on that same example you just gave. So.
Okay.
It's exciting.
If I receive a text message that my package is here, when will I be able to answer in a message that I want it delivered to my home instead for 39 crowns?
Yeah, first of all, you ain't going to do that through SMS. You're going to use the app 2016.
We can do some of that now through My Choice, as I mentioned. Now you can reroute that package today to deliver it to a access point or another location.
So you can choose like your job or something like that?
Yes, that's a great example, which we would rather deliver it, obviously, because that last 1 mile, but it gives you the option if the retailer ships it to your home, but you're at the office, you get the opportunity to reroute a package.
Great.
When will a drone deliver my package to my home? And I live in the countryside, so...
Hopefully never. I think that's widely exaggerated. I think it's a nice idea to talk about drones, but never.
What about you?
I will not say never. I would say that, you know, I've had this, I was waiting for this question. So, no, I think if you look at, you know, even third world countries potentially where you're trying to get medicine into, I think there's always an opportunity. As we invest in technology, we explore every opportunity. I think, though, when you think about it tangibly, you know, my number I just mentioned, if we deliver 18 million packages a day, I mean, the sky would be black with drones at 18 million. So I think we're a ways yet, even from an aviation security perspective. So there's more to come on that, more to learn.
When will we see the first pickup point branded as an online store?
Well, repeating 2016 again, I think that's going to happen really fast. I think that's the next step.
Matt?
Yeah, well,
Never?
a pickup point that's an online store.
It's branded as an online store. You can buy maybe 6 weeks or something.
You know, I don't know. From our perspective, you know, like I mentioned earlier, organizationally, as we invest, we look at the different areas. I mean, we'll invest $1 billion in technology this year. So I think that will, you know, those things that we always look at, but I won't say for us next year by chance, no.
Okay. But if that happens, who is that going to be, Tobias?
I think it will be CDON then.
Of course. Thank you so much
question.
for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for the teddy bear, too.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.